everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and take a look at those pepper plants growing. You notice that the color is rich green, which is a good indication that you're not overwatering, they're getting enough nutrients, and they're happy. You notice that they are slightly moving. That is because I have my fan on. What I want to do is talk a little bit about fertilizing your pepper plants, because that's something you need to start thinking about, because in a couple of weeks that's exactly what we're going to do. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Bloom Plus for sponsoring this channel. I am growing under the BP 1500 full spectrum grow light. I have my plants 18 inches under this grow light. All my pepper plants are underneath. I have 20 pepper plants in total. This is an awesome grow light because it mimics the sun so well. If you're interested in the BP 1500, it is 20% off. All links are in the description box below. The importance of fertilizing your pepper plants is critical. If you don't, then their blossoms will drop. You won't have tasty fruit, your plants will be spindly, and you just won't have a great yield. So you can see here with the more mature pepper plants that I have, they're beautiful green in color. They're blooming like crazy. There's so many blossoms on them, and that is because they are super happy underneath the grow light. The other factor is proper fertilization. There are 3 really good factors to having healthy pepper plants. 1, you need a really good grow light, and one that mimics the sun or an exceptionally sunny window, and you need at least 12 hours of sunlight, or obviously your grow light to be on for 12 hours. The other critical thing is fertilizer. The next critical thing is not to overwater, feeding them just enough. The warmth of the room could be your 4th factor. Now I'm in the basement here. It is not exceptional in the warmth of what they really need, but because all my other factors are met, they're still blooming. They are happy enough where they are opening up their blossoms. So I would say the first 3 are the main. The 4th one is just as important, but if you don't have your room, let's say 25 degrees Celsius, it's not going to be the end of the world. They may just set fruit a little slower, but because they got adequate light, because they got adequate nutrients, they're going to perform. So what kind of fertilizer do you need for these handsome looking plants? One of the biggest and most important fertilizers is Epsom salts. Epsom salts are high in magnesium. They are also high in sulfur. Sometimes Epsom salts are called magnesium sulfate fertilizer. So sometimes you'll hear that term. I picked mine up at Costco. Any grocery store usually carries Epsom salts. London Drugs, pharmacies, it's readily available. And it's not that expensive. And this container here, it is a 5.5 kilogram container, will last me probably about 6 to 7 years of feeding my plants. And that's not just my pepper plants. Tomatoes really benefit from an Epsom salt fertilizer. So at this point where you don't really need to feed your pepper plants yet because they're still small, definitely think about picking up some Epsom salts. You have seen me sprouting, and what I like to do is use the water from my sprouts and I pour it over my pepper plants, and that will also fertilize them. Now that does not replace the Epsom salts. The Epsom salt fertilizer you want to do once a month, and I'll go over that when we need to, but I water them continuously with used water from my sprouting because there's nutrients in that water. The other thing that sometimes I like to do is do a manure tea. So you can definitely do a manure tea with rabbit manure, with compost, with cow manure. Those are the top. Definitely you can do that. What I really like to do is think about what I use in the house and the byproducts from the house that I already have. A lot of times we forget what we already are using in the house. So what I like to do is, obviously I like to use the Epsom salts, I like to use the water from my sprouts, but I also, if I am making cheese, I will dilute the whey and I will feed it to my plants as well. And if you have a lot of compost like bananas, bananas are awesome. You can throw banana peels in a boiling pot of water with some eggshells. You could boil it and then strain it, and you can use that water when it's cool to feed your plants as well. So look around, see what you have, because there's more than one way to fertilize your pepper plants. But with all of those, I would still highly recommend that you pick up some Epsom salts somewhere, because Epsom salts really help the plants set their fruit. I've been using Epsom salts for about 10 years and the results are awesome. So right now at this particular stage, you don't need to fertilize your plants. You see I have the first set, the second set, and the third set. What I am is waiting for them to mature just a bit more before I give them the fertilizer. And that's why I like to use a really good potting soil, because the potting soil at this point provides all the nutrients they need until they get a little bit bigger, or until I start seeing flower heads forming, and I will go through that more in depth into another video. And again, I would like to thank Bloom Plus for sponsoring this channel. Everything's in the description box below. Please feel free to ask me any questions you like about the grow lights. Otherwise, I will happy growing, and I will see you on the next video.